Good morning. This is Truth and Oneness Enlightened Living Discussions. So definitely people are kind of feeling the pinch right now. A lot of things are going on, but things are definitely starting to look up. Don't let things get you down. Like they're trying everything they can to pull everybody down, trying to make everything seem kind of like the situation is kind of deplorable, but in reality, things are turning around and everything always seems bad before it gets better. Some of the things that have been happening recently, a lot of people need to take in consideration is like people already kind of knew people like Bill Gates and whatnot like that, and their foundations were kind of corrupt, but it's actually becoming more.
The WHO,
Yeah, and the WHO and
FDA.
the FDA, CDC, all that kind of stuff, like, and the people in those director positions, a lot of these people are actually being shown to the light so people could see and like research and figure things out. They actually get to see what's going on. And
These are some of the most corrupt organizations, you guys,
yeah,
along with many others. But yeah,
it doesn't take much to look into it, and then you'll see that it's pretty jacked up stuff. Um, but yeah, this is a good thing because this is like a part of a lot of things. Like when you think about health organizations, they have their tendrils in a lot of things. They're into obviously like pharmaceuticals, which includes vaccinations and different things like that.
and if you're still one of those people that believe the vaccinations are safe, then you really need to do some more research on them. They're not. They've never been proven to be safe. None of the studies on vaccines, even the vaccines that are out now that have been quote approved, they have no approval process that they go through to show that they're actually safe and even effective. And you can find the research on this if you just look for it. Um, I think it's been like over 20 years or 30 years since a vaccine has actually gone through a process to show that it's safe and effective. But yeah, these are the things that we just blindly trust in these organizations, and then the stuff they tell us to take, and like whatever. This is kind of what got us to the point that we're at now, which is not terrible. It's just that this is a process of experiencing the depths of duality in this realm that we live in, right? So we have to kind of go to the far end of the galaxy and then see the light on the other end that we actually want to be back towards, sort of, I guess you could say. So this is all part of the experience and process, but the important thing is that we actually need to be now, and at this moment is the time that we need to be really opening up our crown chakra. We need to be opening up our consciousness to truth of what is really going on in your reality right now. And that's what's playing out in the media, and playing out not just the media, because media tells a bunch of lies and stuff, but mostly to follow what the president is kind of hinting at. There's a lot of truth there, dropping a lot of truth bombs, if you know what I mean. And there's other people, people on YouTube that follow are putting pieces together too, but it's all moving in a really good direction. It's just it's interesting to see everything unfolding the way it is too. But yeah, no. Continue what you're saying. Sorry.
No, it's this is as you're saying. These are some great things because like when you start to dismantle these systems, you'll start to see like these big power play systems like media, pharmaceuticals, all these things are like connected, and when one of the powerhouses starts to crumble, the rest of them will start to follow. And what that means is a lot more freedoms for people, like because what they're trying to do, obviously, lock down the country, lock down the world. Now things are starting to let up, but they didn't let up like they did in other places where it's like, okay, you guys did exactly what we told you to do. Now you can let up. Like here in the States, like the president was like, all right, well, I'm not going to lock you guys down like that. Now, governors, it's all on you. If you want to open up your state, go for it.
Nobody's saying to open up the states.
Yeah, he wants everything to be open. He didn't even want any of this to happen in the first place. He's like, all right, well, let's lock down for a week. And then he had a lot of pressure to lock down longer than that. Now he's like, I want things open by May. And governors, take responsibility for your state. So now it's putting the pressure back on people to like really figure out like why they're even locking down their people in the first place. And it's going to show to a lot of people that this is all kind of silly, and it's going to break down like some other barriers of like who's controlling who, and like who's trying to like take away rights.
Why are we doing the things that we do?
Yeah.
Why are we just blindly following instructions? Because, I mean, if anyone obviously has put any real thought into it, it's like, why are we locking everything down for a disease that is less deadly than many other, quote, diseases that we've had or that we have in this country, like the flu and like whatever else,
Yeah, even like
Why are we not locked down for winter every year for, the flu and whatnot?
exactly. It's like even like some stuff like car accidents or like just accidents in general and whatnot like that. It's like we don't lock the country down because some like people died. So it's like that's what people need to take in consideration. So it's like he's trying to like just show people, and now he's letting individual states govern themselves, which is kind of like what we're supposed to be doing in the first place. And it's going to allow to see corruption from the states that like continue to try to lock the people down, because now they're going to have neighboring states that are like, oh, we're going to let our people do our thing, and they're whatever, they're get back to business and everything like that. Now this, and what that'll do is show other people like, hey, wait, why are they going back to living and we're not? I mean, why are you guys keeping us indoors? Like, it's gonna have a lot more people asking questions, which is a good thing.
It's gonna show where the corruption is. It's gonna point the finger directly at the corrupt individuals, and that's gonna help bring that to the surface too, and help kind of wash away more corruption on the state level, which is interesting. There's already people apparently that are out protesting, having the whole like lockdown thing in certain states. And I see this is a good time to be doing that if you're going to do that, right? Like, I feel like the whole month in, on quote lockdown was a good thing for people to be indoors and away from, sort of disconnecting yourself in a big way from the matrix system, so you can kind of sit and think about things and like really evaluate kind of on a spiritual level, like where we want to go as a collective, a conscious collective, a whole entity, right? Now I think we're to the end of that point, and it's time to sort of start putting sort of in action, if you will, what it is we really want to see the world as, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like as you're saying, it's like giving people that downtime, even if all they do is like sit there and just drink every day. The thing is, inside them is starting to question things like, why am I even doing what I'm doing? It's like even now it's like I'm sitting in here getting drunk or getting high every day. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, is this what I want to be doing? This is going to be in my life? Because like they're talking about like potentially this going on for like a year and a half. It's like, would you really be able to continue doing what you're doing without anything else? Like sitting indoors, sitting in front of a computer, having people deliver your food. Like, could you really just do that? Not talk to anybody except for in front of your computer. Getting in trouble if you have more than a couple friends over. Like, that's absurd. And I'm glad people are starting to, like, see that this is a little ridiculous. And it's starting to break free and all these different things. So definitely a lot of positive things are coming out of this. And a lot of people are also starting to question the system of money and everything like that too, because when you think about it, they're like, okay, so you just gave us money, okay, and these companies are going under, but why are they going under? Some of them got these stimulus bill pieces, like how'd they just buckle under it? Wait, what?
Well, and also the whole thing, it's like one of the incentives to try to get people to stay on lockdown for the next year is that we'll pay you $2,000 a month if you follow our rules or whatever, or some amount of money if you follow the rules, which is pretty insane, really, when you think about it. Because some people would be probably willing to do that,
Absolutely, and it's like buying.
I'll sell you my life. I'll sell you my life pretty much for a little bit of money every month. Like, come on, you guys, really? No.
Exactly. It's like, just let that sink in a little bit. I'm willing to sit in my house and do nothing and not interact with anybody because you're willing to give me a little bit of money each month.
Yeah, so basically, we're obviously, this is sort of the continuation of the beginning of this big change. Right. I feel like we've entered a new phase of it now. And I still think that there's something really big going on under the covers or underneath the under everyone's noses, under this whatever you want to call it, in the background. And I think it's going to come out in a really big way to show, really kind of show. I mean, I think it's already starting by people starting to question organizations like the CDC and the WHO and all that stuff, and Bill Gates' organization. People are really starting to look into these places, and I think there's just gonna be more kind of being brushed out from under the rug, and all out in the open for people to see and realize that wow, we've been run by a bunch of just completely corrupt individuals and groups and whatever, you know.
Absolutely.
It has to come to the light in order for it to be dealt with, even if it's not dealt with like physically, but like mentally and spiritually. And it's all about just awareness, you know. I feel like when just the fact that you become aware of it, conscious, like collectively, the collective consciousness becoming aware of these things. That's enough to that in itself is enough to sort of dissolve these issues. But obviously, there's going to be physical action being taken place more on the level where they're doing this stuff, and we'll see as it unfolds. But it's really interesting to just kind of everyone should be very happy and proud of where this world is at the moment. You know, how we're moving in a very positive direction, and it's great. I don't know. I'm very excited about the future, about right now, really, and the future, and yeah, it's fairly interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It's like,
Things are gonna be totally different than what they have been in the past. I feel like, but
yeah, everybody definitely knows that. It's like that's one of the things that's been commonly stated, regardless of where you are, spiritually, mentally, all that stuff. It's like the world is going to be different, very, very different, here in the next couple of months and whatnot. It's like it's going to reveal itself, like how all these different things have actually taken place. Some people that decided not that like still want to like stay in the matrix. It might seem like a kind of a bad place, but it's like you don't have to stay in the matrix. It's like you
for
can.
them it might be good.
Well, yeah, it's
Who
like
knows?
I mean, yeah, actually, you're right. It's like this one that's like
That's what
if
they
I stay
thrive on.
inside and I get money and I can just drink my
I'm doing what I told,
foods.
and I'll be safe, and I won't die of
Yeah.
coronavirus. I don't know, you
And
know.
occasionally they give me like a steak or something like that. I'm very happy.
Right.
They can, this is my life. It's great. And it's like if that's what you want, I guess.
Yeah.
But definitely things are gonna continue going in a great direction. Just watch it all unfold and like
Stay in that positive place, spiritual place, or like if you're a meditating type of person, can align yourself with that your inner guidance that like connects you to like the divine, like creative conscious force that we all are. We're just like parts of, you know. But stay in that place, and that helps to, you know, what do we say? We always say every time we do a video, it's like we create our own reality. Put yourself in the place of not really contentment, but your highest vibrational, like your highest frequency, you know, and let sort of things unfold from there for you individually, but also it will, I feel like it unfolds in a collective way too.
absolutely. And that about wraps this one up. Stay positive, stay in the moment, and allow great things to happen, and we all will benefit.
Yeah, stay positive, but also uh, see the things that are disrupted in our world, right? Because you have to actually see them and be aware of the thing. And it's a global, or it's a like a wide scale thing, but it's also an individual thing. Like you have to look at everything as that you're seeing outside of you is also could be within you. You know, everything outside you is a reflection of you. So make sure you're doing like you're also, if there's any weird things that come up for yourself, that you're addressing those things. Like if there's a lot of fear or anger or like hatred or something going on, you have to see those things too, right? And address them and let them release. Just like in the large scale, we're seeing all these corrupt corporations and becoming aware of them and kind of just releasing them, sort of. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything you'd like to end with?
I think that's it.
All right, everybody.